Hi, welcome to Lent, this wonderful season that allows us to prepare for the glory and wonder of Easter. But first we go through this season that is a season that is marked by sacrifice, by deepening our own faith journey with Jesus. It's a time that's marked by giving of ourselves. It's a time of introspection where we reflect on who we are as God's people and how we celebrate that, but how we sometimes come short of God's call for us. I think a lot of people see Lent as a time of negativity, a time of darkness, a time of just nothing but agony and suffering. But I see Lent as a time of grace. It's a time when we acknowledge, yes, we do fall short. Yes, we fail. Yes, we are sinful. And yes, one day we will die. But all of those things are made even more pronounced by God's grace, by God's love, by Jesus' resurrection, which brings all of us along, which gathers us all together. Because as we say in our funeral liturgy, if we have been united with Jesus in a baptism like his, we shall surely be united with him in a resurrection like his. So that promise of resurrection is ours as well. And so Lent becomes this journey from death to life, from darkness to light, from hopelessness to wonder and joy and celebration. And along the way, we get to tell some amazing stories. In the church, we work on a 3-year lectionary series. It's a schedule of all the lessons that are read in church. And I have to say that this year is my very favorite. Our lessons for most of the weeks in Lent will come from the Gospel of John. The exception is the first week in Lent, the first Sunday in Lent, when we hear about Jesus' temptation in the wilderness, where he is baptized and immediately goes into the wilderness, where he encounters the devil who tempts him. But then that is followed the following week by a wonderful story of Nicodemus. I like to think of him as Nick at night, because Nicodemus comes to Jesus in the middle of the night because he's ashamed to let anybody know that he is aligning himself with Jesus. He doesn't want anyone to know that he might be a follower of this radical rabble-rouser. That is followed in the third Sunday in Lent by the woman at the well, a Samaritan woman who is an outsider. She's an outcast, but she meets Jesus and her life is changed forever. She comes to draw water at the well, but upon meeting Jesus, she is so transformed, so amazed, so changed by this conversation she has with Jesus that she forgets why she was there. She leaves her water jug, runs back to the town, and tells everybody that you need to come and meet this person I've just met. He's God's son. He's the Messiah. The week after that, we hear the story of the man who was born blind. From birth, he has had no vision, but Jesus gives him this vision. Just as we sometimes fail in seeing those things around us, Jesus opens our eyes as well, healing us, bringing us hope, bringing us vision of life and wonder and Easter joy. And then the final Sunday of Lent, Lent 5, we hear the story of the raising of Lazarus. Lazarus, who is Jesus' dear friend, who dies. But then when Jesus shows up and stands at that tomb of death and darkness, that tomb of hopelessness, with those words that he says, Lazarus, come out. Lazarus comes out of the tomb alive. And we see in that in Jesus there is no death. There is only life and hope as we move ahead to Easter. But Sundays are not the only time that we will be encountering different stories throughout the Bible. Wednesday evenings in Lent, we are going to be dealing with stories from the Gospels about women's encounters with Jesus. And I think this is significant because during Jesus' time, women were pretty much I want to say seen and not heard, but they were even not necessarily seen very often. And the fact that the gospel writers included so many stories of women shows that this is a radical new thing. And this year we're doing this partially in observance of the ELCA's celebration of the 50th anniversary of the ordination of women, which we're celebrating this year. You know, women's voices are such a gift in the church and in the world. And so we're going to hear these women's voices raised for us, women who have been healed, women who have encountered Jesus, women whose lives have been transformed by their connection with Jesus. And so Wednesday nights in Lent, I invite you to come to a 6 o'clock soup supper and then 7 o'clock worship, where each week we will encounter a different woman who had her life changed by Jesus. But in addition to that, visit this website, this Immanuel Webster family's website, and go to the Growing in Faith tab, where each week there will be another video about these women. Each week we will, the women we will talk about on Wednesday evenings. And there will also be some questions that you can interact online. Read the passages in the Bible. Think about this, reflect on this, and hopefully this will help on your own Lenten journey as we encounter others, that we see this grace, this wonder, this hope and light and life that comes through Jesus' ministry among these women. Blessings to you this Lent. I look forward to celebrating it with you. I look forward to having wonderful conversations together, whether in person or online. And I look forward to walking this path together as we draw nearer to the cross and to the empty tomb of Easter. Blessings to you.